Hello and welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Tamara Jordan, Tamieturnspages. I am so glad that you are here and that you decided to turn pages with me today. Today, we are not going to turn pages, but actually instead, we are doing a sit-down video. In this video, we are going to be talking about all things spring. We are welcoming spring in this video. So, in this video, I'm going to give you some ideas, books you can read, things you can do to just kind of welcome spring. I'm also going to share with you my spring curriculum, which is something I've been loving. I've been thinking about doing a spring curriculum or just a curriculum in general for a while, and I thought this is a great time. Spring is definitely the time of rebirth and new growth, and I think this is perfect to do it. So, yeah, I'm going to give you some ideas after sharing my curriculum with you, and then hopefully it'll help prompt you to make your own spring curriculum. Okay, so I made a little kind of spreadsheet. I didn't actually make this. ChatGPT made this for me after I told ChatGPT what I wanted. Uh, just a spring curriculum kind of weekly class schedule. Basically, I'd like to spend at least an hour and 15 minutes a day doing some type of activity that enriches my soul and my spirit and my heart and my mind, and kind of akin to taking college courses or something like that. I wanted to set it up kind of that way. And then I also have some like check off boxes. I only put 5 here, but that would be like 5 weeks worth of doing this activity. I do also want to share this with you so you can get ideas, of course, like I said, but also so that I am being held accountable. But let's go ahead and go over it really quickly. So this is my spring curriculum. This is my weekly class schedule, hour and 15 minutes, as I said before. I'm not factoring in daily skincare and healthy like meals and stuff like that. Like that is something I already can't currently have that in place, as well as my nightly reading from 9 to 10:30, which I do regardless. So I'm just wanted to put that in the bottom part. But Monday is going to be workout in Spanish. I am currently trying to learn Spanish. I've been technically I've fallen off and I need to get back on the back on the wagon. So I said 45 minutes of working out, and when I say workout, I mean like a walk. Anything that there's movement to my body. It doesn't have to be like, hit or like, cardio. It's just something that makes me move. And then 30 minutes of Spanish, which is an hour and 15 minutes. And then Tuesday would be creative studio, 75 minutes. So my plan is to either take a pottery class or do watercoloring at that time, just at my house, or doing cozy coloring, something creative. It doesn't even have to be art. It can just be something that I'm doing creatively in my house. I also did put filming here. That's creative. So anything that is making me feel more creative is what I want to do. On Wednesday, it's language again and play. I did say that I wanted to do language 3 to 4 times a week, as well as working out 3 to 4 times a week, or movement. So 30 minutes of Spanish again, and then 45 minutes of games, puzzles, or any type of like fun, like brain teasers. Again, I want to do that. I want to keep stimulating my mind and kind of get a little bit more analog. And on Thursday, I would like to again work out in 35 minutes of light creative or organizing, something like that. So just being creative by possibly editing my videos or maybe working on my scrapbook. Friday, we're doing culture and review. Again, working on that magazine a little bit if we have time to do it. But I said 45 minutes of watching TV or a movie or something like that, but then also having some type of like reaction to it. So what I have been doing is when I'm doing my scrapbooking, I've been also making sure to like write down my thoughts and my feelings regarding like what I've been reading slash and or watching. So that would take up the other 30 minutes. Saturday, we're doing another body movement for 45 minutes and then 30 minutes of Spanish. And then Sunday, it's open enrichment, and it's 75 minutes of relaxed creative games, puzzles, kind of like a fun free day, like whatever I would like to finish, or if I didn't get to something, some like gaming the whole day, because I am also slightly a gamer, and I want to prioritize doing that, just keeping it nice and chill and relaxed. So this is how my curriculum would be set up. I definitely encourage you to have someone else, like ChatGPT or whatever type of tool you use, set it up for you. As long as you tell it what you want, it will set it up for you, period. So that is the spring curriculum. Now I'm going to move over to books that you might want to read. I'm also going to be talking about movies and TV shows that I really like for spring that you might also want to add to your curriculum. And then I think I'm also just going to show you a couple versions of like bucket lists. Okay, so this section is the book section. You can't see this last one here. This is the Golden Spoon, but don't worry, I have a different slide where you'll be able to see it. These are the books that I am going to be recommending to you. So if you want to take a little screenshot, you can. Fayne, Keeper of Enchanted Rooms, House in Cerulean Sea, Pet, Midnight Library, Give Me Butterflies, Lost Apothecary, Pineapple Street, A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, and then The Golden Spoon. The first book I want to recommend is a sweeping historical fiction. It is called Fayne. This book follows our main character, Charlotte Bell. She's a young woman who is living with a secret that kind of threatens everything that she and her family believes. She is navigating danger and questions of identity. It is also a really tender novel that is unexpectedly beautiful and also very, oh my gosh, just very heart-wrenching and just an incredible story about a woman trying to find herself in, the Scottish, well, actually it's the English countryside. This is very atmospheric and just very like dark and moody, and it's just beautiful. It was one of the best books I read last year, and it is definitely a 5-star. I would say this is historical fiction, so I would definitely recommend this book if you are interested in reading something that sounds like that. So the next one is The Keeper of Enchanted Rooms. This is historical fantasy, but more fantasy than anything. It follows our main character, Merritt. Merritt inherits a mansion, and he asks Hulda, which is a magical housekeeper kind of person, to come to his house, and they basically uncover mysteries together. This is actually the first in a series. I thought it was very cute. I thought it was very cozy. I definitely thought it was very magical, like what I needed, and the romance was also very sweet. The next book is The House in the Cerulean Sea. This is another fantasy. I read this, at this point now, maybe 4 years ago. This is such an amazing novel. I actually would recommend this on audio. This is the story of Linus Baker. He is basically a caseworker who is sent to this house, and it has a bunch of kind of misfit orphan children that have magical powers that they have not yet figured out how to use, basically. And Linus is there just to help them and mentor them. This is very cozy, very cute. Again, I would recommend the audio. It's so hysterical, like especially some of the characters, but this is very much someone who is seeking uplifting, lighthearted fantasy that's going to really, really touch your heart. The next book that I would recommend is Pet, and this one is by Ekweke Emezi. I will read anything that they write because their books are amazing. I think this is technically considered YA, but basically this is set in a city that has had monsters in the past but doesn't have monsters anymore. Pet is basically about a teenager whose world shifts when a mysterious creature emerges from a painting, and this creature has kind of a hidden agenda and things that it needs to do. Pet is there to help make people take accountability. This is a very, very powerful novel. It's YA, but it packs a punch. The next book I want to talk to you about, Midnight Library. This one is by Matt Haig. I read this maybe 5 years ago. This is a story of Nora. Well, she finds herself Basically, in a mysterious library, if she picks a book, she's able to relive that time in her life and then change it if she wants to. This was beautiful. This was one of the most beautiful books. I think I gave this 5 stars in the year I read it, but I really love it. It's very introspective and it is about second chances and definitely perspectives. And I would call this magical realism slash a little bit of fantasy. The next book is a romance, and this one is called Give Me Butterflies. I don't see people talking about this book that much, and I know the second one is I think it maybe already came out. I'm not sure. This is by Jillian Meadows. This is a contemporary novel but romance, and it follows two main characters. One of them is an entomologist and then the other one is a scientist, like a botanist, I think, and they basically meet and they fall in love, and it is very, very cute. There is single parent trope, and they're just trying to navigate that as well, which is kind of beautiful, and it's just very gentle. It's slow paced, kind of a slow burn. Women in STEM, it's a vibe. I don't know. I just really loved it a lot. So, oh my gosh. This one I also gave 5 stars to when I first read it. This is The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. This one is dual timeline. It's present day London, but it's also like 18th century London as well. And we're following two main characters. Nella works in an apothecary and is secretly providing poison to women seeking justice from abusive men. And then in the modern day timeline, there's a historian who's trying to uncover clues about what Nella did in the past, and somehow that timeline merges together. It's very fun, it's very interesting, and it's very like magical and lighthearted. And I really especially loved like all the potions that they were talking about and all like the magical elements to this story. I just thought it was really, really well done. The next book is Pineapple Street. This one is by Jenny Jackson. This one follows basically an old Brooklyn family who has a lot of money, and it's three women navigating relationships and friendship. Family class dynamics are in this book. It's very much like The Nest. If anybody has read The Nest, that's also kind of the same vibe. Rich people problems, and yeah, the ending is not what you would expect. This next one is A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, and this is by Betty Smith. This one is a coming of age story about Francie Nolan, and she's growing up in basically 20th century Brooklyn, early 20th century Brooklyn. She has financial troubles, and her family is, they're poor, but it doesn't stop her from being curious about life and about experiences and about new things, which is beautiful. It almost a little bit has a little bit of Anne of Green Gables, just like the zest for life that Anne has. It's kind of the same as Francie. It's a plot that's like nothing is happening, but everything's happening all at the same time. Oh, this is very thoughtful. It's touching. It mainly talks about and explores human beings, characters, and human emotion. And the last one on this list is The Golden Spoon. This one is really, really fun. This is like, I would say, a cozy mystery slash thriller. This one is set in this beautiful Vermont estate. It is a baking competition, and during the baking competition, someone dies. And throughout the competition, really, really crazy things start happening. And the competition becomes more about solving the mystery of who is dying, less about who's baking the best cake. It's really, really fun. I would say it's sweet, it's charming, it's definitely feels like a warm, cozy hug. There's, I would say, a good amount of plot in this, and also a good amount of, because sometimes cozy mysteries can be like, they're too cozy and then nothing's happening. This is a cozy mystery slash thriller, so there is definitely a lot to move the storyline. Okay, so I hope you liked my book recommendation portion. The next portion we're going to move on to is movies and TV. I'm actually going to look down so I can see what I'm going to be showing on the screen, maybe here or here. The first movie I want to recommend is Polly. This is like a 1990s something version. This is the story of a little girl who is orphaned and has to move to her aunt's house and basically finds joy in everything and in life, and she brings that joy to other people. It's really, really sweet and endearing and beautiful, and I love it. And the next one is The Virgin Suicides. This is the story of a family. They're all girls, and they are very enigmatic, and nobody can really get close to them. Father is very strict, but one of the neighbors equally falls in love with like all of the girls, but they all have someone who's pretty obsessed with them. It's beautifully done. I think it's originally was a book, and I think just the artistry of the way this movie looks, incredible. Sofia Coppola just killed it. The next one is The Secret Garden. I just did a Cafes and Classics vlog about what this book is about because it was originally a book. Obviously, this is the 1990s version. I love it. It's the story of another orphan girl. I don't know why, but that's like kind of my thing, maybe. I don't know. Who has to move in with her uncle this time. And she is honestly kind of a brat, but she discovers things about herself and about others that changes her whole perception of life and the way she sees things, and it's very, very, very redemptive, and I liked it a lot. The next one is Ladybird. This takes place in the 90s, and this one I think was by Diablo Cody, if I am not mistaken. I also think this is the first, or maybe one of the first movies that Timothée Chalamet was in, and then also we love Saoirse Ronan, so yes. But this is in the 90s. It's a girl, high school girl who's trying to navigate going to college or possibly going to college, her identity, her relationships, her life. It's amazing. Next one is Midsommer. This one has Florence Pugh in it. This one gives me spring vibes just because of like the bright greens and the waterfalls. It's just like the flowers are everywhere. And this does technically take place in Midsummer. When they get there, because they go specifically for a festival, they realize that it is not anything like what they thought it was going to be. It's really, really great. It's horror, if you don't know that. But I loved it. I loved every second of it. It was great. And yeah, I would recommend it. The last movie is The Wind Rises. This is a Studio Ghibli movie. This is animated. It is one of the most beautiful films I've ever watched. One of my favorite Studio Ghibli, period. I also love Howl's Moving Castle. And I mean, I love them all, but this is one of my favorites. And I also love Porco Rosso, and Porco Rosso doesn't get a lot of love. Anyway, The Wind Rises is basically about two people who meet, and then they have kind of a catastrophic event happen to them, and it kind of binds them together. They are magically reunited, like by fate, and it's just really a beautiful story. She is dealing with things that he doesn't really understand and also is not necessarily prepared to deal with. And then he is basically like an engineer. Like he wants to build planes, so kind of an architect, kind of an engineer. Then we're going to move on to TV shows. The first TV show is Sirens. I think this came out in May of last year, so that's why I think it is kind of spring coated. It is two sisters who are kind of estranged, and one sister is kind of taking the brunt of taking care of the father, and then the other sister is like living off in this dream life. But they're on either Cape Cod or Martha's, something like that, and beautiful coastal town. She is the assistant to this really high, well-to-do family, and specifically the wife of that family. And she's doing anything that she can to move up in social climb. Very twisty, very turny. The next one is Dickinson. This came out 8 years ago now. One of the best. I mean, I don't know how many adaptations there are of Emily Dickinson, but this is, in my opinion, the best adaptation. It's very cool. It's very funky. It's got a real fresh vibe to it. I thought it was very relatable, and that's why I would recommend it. But it just tells the story of Emily Dickinson. The next one is The Artful Dodger. This one about Oliver Twist, the boy, and Fagin are teamed up again, and you're kind of seeing him go through his life in London. He is trying to be a doctor, but he technically can't because he's still drawn to the pull of Fagin and all of his past traumas and past experiences that he's had. He can't get out of trouble. He can't stay out of trouble. The next one is Vladimir. This one recently came out maybe about a month ago. I just watched it. I loved it. I read the book before and I was very excited that this was coming out. But this is basically the story of a female college professor and a new college professor and his wife, who is also, they're all professors, a professor. She becomes very obsessed with the family, but really becomes obsessed with the male college professor and tries to do anything that she can to get close to him. The next one is The Gilded Age, and this one is basically 1880s, 1890s story about like the New York social scene and how the big families like the Vanderbilts and the Rothschilds and stuff, those families, not necessarily named in this show, but those families, how they made their money, how they, rose up in the ranks and just following their lifestyle. It's very, very good and kind of scandalous in a fun little gossipy type of way. And then the last one is from this one hit me and my husband over the head. We loved it so much. We heard that it was one of the best thriller / horror TV shows and we had never heard of it. And we were like, there's no way. We watched like the first 2 episodes. There are 3 seasons. We then proceeded to binge all 3 seasons, not in one night. I wish. I wish I had that time, but in like 2 weeks. And there's like 10 episodes on each. And we were just locked in. It is the story of travelers. They're all traveling somewhere and they wind up in this town and then they can't get out and they have to figure out a way to get out. Excellent. This is excellent. If you're going to watch any of these TV shows, that's the one I think you should watch. Okay, and then the last thing I want to do is just share March and April and spring bucket lists in general. So I'm just going to go ahead and flash them here on the screen. But you'll see things like start seeds, which is a good time to do it in March. You're also going to see bake some bread or try new tea or decorate with fresh greenery. That's for March. And then for April, you're going to see maybe like try a new cafe or switch to spring wardrobe, springtime art project, maybe go for a bike ride, things like that. And then the last spring bucket list, it's gonna be like play a cozy new game or let spring breeze in, which is kind of fun. Have a picnic under a tree, go for a walk barefoot. So all of those fun things. Thank you so much for watching this video and welcoming spring with me. I hope this gave you some ideas of how to maybe start your own curriculum or just a spring kind of starter pack for you. If you like this video, please don't hesitate to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I hope I will see you in the next one.